Hi, this is Eric Martin with BoardGameGeek. I'm here with Rustin Haakonsen, designer of City Skylines, out from Cosmos in German and English.
At the same time, for the first time from Cosmos.
Yes, I mean the US market has some weight and things, so Cosmos is stepping up and delivering at once.
This time, the US market has to wait so as far as until Monday.
Okay.
So a little bit behind, so this was released now, this week, but next week, Monday, in US and
That's right.
UK and Nordic countries and whatever, where English copies are normally to be found.
So City Skylines is an adaptation
Yes,
of a video
the computer game, yeah.
Yes. Maybe you can talk about how it works, because I know it's a little different. It's cooperative, whereas the game is not. What's the gameplay like?
The computer game is a solo play game that you can play for hundreds and hundreds of hours on a single city, and that is not really what you want to do as a board game. So, as a board game, you need to cut down the time a little bit, and everything that the computer does that in board game terms are counted as upkeep, those needed to go away.
Okay.
So there's been so many versions and so much testing, and the initial version was actually a competitive game, and then we decided that no, maybe a cooperative game would match the computer game better. Okay. And in many ways the game has been focused on what is the experience of the computer game, and especially the emergent behavior of seeing the city grow and deciding what should you do now, how do you react to this situation, and every single thing you do here is you as a player deciding which building should I build and where should I build it, but you cannot build the same city twice, it is impossible. And that's represented through your cards, your actions that are possible. What you do on your turn, you play one of your cards in your hand, and then you build that building. And if you build an industrial building, you take any of the yellow buildings, and they are all different shapes. And most people that play this game, they will lose at least the first, maybe a couple of first games, as they learn how it works. And there's, even though it's a clear choice that, oh yeah, you can choose anything, you can build it anywhere, but you still want to maybe put them in here.
Yeah.
You want to get the bonuses. So here there's an industry building, and it reduces your available workers. So you have less unemployment with a worker here, and you get more pollution, and you get some additional crime. And that's what you always get when you build this building. Right. But if this building has coverage from a fire station, then you get as a bonus for money. And money is very important to build infrastructure, to build power plants and garbage handling. So you want to get the bonuses.
Okay. So let's back up a second. Where are we at this point in the game, the model that you built? Or is it halfway through?
No, this is at the end, most likely, of the third milestone. Okay. So when you start the game, you have 4 pieces like this that are open land, and you have to choose which one to start developing. You have some starting money, and you pay the amount that is on the board, flip it, and now you can build in this region. Here, the gamers might have built this one first, and then develop this one, and then develop this one. And there are several things that are highly unusual for a board game that mimics the free-form way of playing the computer game. So when you want to end the milestone, you can do that. You choose when it's a good opportunity to do it.
Okay.
And that is the moment where you check, okay, do you have enough power for your city? Do you have enough garbage collection and so on? And you also check how happy your citizens are at that point. And at the end of each milestone, you add the happiness that you get, and that is your score if you win. So you win the game if you do not go bankrupt or lose in other ways, that the citizens are too angry and all of them are moving away. You are really making a bad city. But the most common thing to lose from is from lack of money, because you have overinvested in making the citizens happy. And that is the way that the game pushes you always to try a bit more and get a bit higher score. But you get no score at all unless you actually complete the game.
Okay, so yes, I was wondering, when you say you get to choose when to do the milestone, why would you choose one over the other? What is driving you to
because if you have too little power, then you lose happiness. And if you have too much too many workers or too few workers, then you have to pay money, and you have to pay money for the next area to develop.
So you're trying to develop the whole time and hit this balance of multiple factors.
Everything is about balance and not letting anything run away. Like if you have max out, this is the overview of the city. This is the city treasury. The money is shared among all players. When you run out of money and have to pay more, you go bankrupt and you lose the game.
Okay.
If the crime is very high, the citizens will not accept that you build more. So this is the maximum. You cannot play a card that would force crime to go up.
Okay.
Here, if this goes down to a severe lack of garbage collection, then there's garbage everywhere, and the citizens are not going to be happy with you. So you want to keep this balance. And this is not the number of people in the city, because that is clearly growing as you add more buildings. This is the work
rate.
pool balance. So if it goes down, you are lacking workers. If it goes up, you have too many workers, and you always want to maintain the balance.
Full employment. There you go.
And the game changes a lot depending on the number of players. If you're on 2 players, it's more easygoing and quick back and forth. On 4 players, it's more like Pandemic, where you really need to talk together and discuss things and make sure that, okay, what can we do now to survive and actually get through this? And we really need to discuss and talk together and make a really planning your decisions, and the game changes based on that.
And you can play it solo as well.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 players, and you start with using just the normal rules, and then you add in more parts like unique buildings and player roles and like this news events. I can show it here. The citizens are sick. And always when you build something that increases pollution, you lose happiness. And these things are activated until the next news card is activated. And or until the end of the milestone.
Right.
And when you play something, you choose which of the... let me show you here. There are 3 different piles, and these are not connected to the milestones. It's just that where do you aim to be as a city developer, a city ruler. So you start with only level 1 cards in hand, but every time you play a card, you choose which of these to take from. And that's another part where you really need to play the game a couple of times to learn, okay, what can we do? When can we start to pick from here? When can we start to pick from here? And it's different for each game. You can't really say, okay, in the second milestone, you should pick from this. But no, it depends on the situation on the board.
Right.
But you have a lot of influence, but in a free-form way. And seeing your city develop is great fun.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rustin.
Thank you.
For an overview, Rustin has a fabulous designer diary. He's answering lots of questions, adding more details on BoardGameGeek. So there's a lot of history that he has already talked about in the game. You can really feel your passion coming through for it. So thank you very much for the overview of City Skylines from Cosmos.